110 of New Attitude Action Now, where we apply concrete thoughts to ignite your optimism. We're actually doing something a little different tonight, and you all can't see it, but we're doing a YouTube of us doing the show. So that's why it took a little while for us to get on tonight, and hopefully this will turn out great. So see, we got you on the phone. Who is it that's joining us this evening? We're going to go ahead and get started real quick here. Name and where you're calling from. Can you hear us? Okay, well, I guess that there's nobody wants to say what they who they are, where they're calling from, and that's quite all right. But our show tonight is going to be a really interesting one. We have someone else just joined us before we're starting to put the call in presentation mode. As I noted before, we are doing a video of this so people can see it on YouTube, and you can actually see my husband and I here in a little bit after we've done the show. We'll upload it to our YouTube channel. We'll give you all that information. Who is it that's joined us before we go ahead and get the call in presentation mode? Who you are and where you're calling from?
Hello, Cynthia, it's always down here, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. How are my friends up there?
Oh, well, your friends down here, since it's a little lower elevation, are doing just wonderful, peachy keen fine. And my husband here, he can speak for himself.
I'm cold. It's cold here in Indiana.
All right. Well, I'll tell you all what. We want you to get a friend on the line. This show, we plan it for 15 to 18 minutes, but this is a really hot subject that we have tonight about the MLM lying game, and we'll give you a little background on that here as we set this call up. It is 6:32, and we do not want to waste any more time. Here we go. Going to set the call up.
Start conference recording, press 1. Return. Entry and exit chimes are on. Entry and exit chimes are off. All callers are muted and they can unmute themselves. To start conference recording, press 1. To return to the conference, press star. This conference is being recorded.
All right, everybody. In the background, we have some really cool music by a woman who is named Adele. She's one of the most popular singers out there now. And the name of that song is Rumor Has It. If you want to go ahead and check out the lyrics, we have that listed underneath our event page for this show, which is MLM Lying Game. Now, we say, if you gave a scam a name, it would probably be Scamella. So if you listen to that song and it talks about she's got this and she's got that, she made you a fool, just call it Scamella. And Scamella is all those things that people say about multi-level marketing, network marketing, relationship marketing. We're going to dive this music down here right now. In fact, Kenny's just going to go ahead and cut it. I like that part. Rumor has it. Rumor has it. Just hit the pause button. There we go. Yeah, he was in
Rumor has it. It was good, wasn't it?
But anyway, you got Kenny and Cynthia Reed, Muncie, Indiana Power Team Leaders. If you don't know what that means, it means our business is pretty much zero overhead because we love being 3 and free in YTB. And we're not talking about just 3 every month. That's 3 period. Now, 3 every week is great, but all they require is 3. Help 3 people. We're going to tell you a little bit more about that toward the end of the program. But the reason why we're doing this is because we found out this was not a scam. And I guess this one guy that I've been around for a while, I thought he was a scam too when I first met him because I'd had so many lousy relationships before I met him. But I gave him a little bit of time and checked him out and, ran his prints for the FBI, and he was okay. So with that, I want to go ahead and turn this call over to my husband, Mr. Kenneth Reed. Take it away.
And we want to welcome everyone to the call once again this evening. And I always want to thank my lovely wife of 37 years. Now we're working on 38. Just being able to be together on the show each Sunday and also being able to be together in our business. And as we talk about our topic this evening, I'm sure all of you have talked to people who have come to you and thought that if you are involved in anything other than a regular job, that it's got to be a scam. And, the best thing you can do is give people your answer to why you do what you do. So we want to share that with you this evening. Back to you, Cynthia.
All right, Kenny. Well, first of all, I want to just give a shout out to those who have lost loved ones in the past and even recently. We have several in our YTB family that have lost loved ones, and our heart goes out to you and our prayers go out to you. And so with that, we just know that life goes on. We have some wonderful support, both in and outside of the business, that are praying for you. Now, let's go ahead and get to the verse for tonight's topic. The verse is John in the New Testament, John chapter 8, verse 44. We won't get into a lot of it, but you can look it up. And it basically says something about your father being the devil, and he's the father of lies. Now, if you're the children of the devil, you've lied. If you've lied, you're a child of the devil. Now, we all have lied, and thank God some of us have been repented for that. And I just wanted to just say this. That goes in all of business, not just spiritual life, but business as well. I'm going to hand him the phone so I won't have to hit it against the board here. We've got some notes. We're going to go ahead and just talk about some of the things. We've looked at some of the scam videos on YouTube, and when they say scam, it's like everything is a scam. Life is a scam to some people. But there was one gentleman, he talked about he didn't like any network marketing, all network marketing. He literally said all network marketing was wrong. It was a scam. It was a pyramid. Well, you know what? We could talk about a lot of that stuff, but you can go, and I'm going to direct you to a place right now that you can write down and look at it later. Tim Sales, T-I-M. His last name is Sales. It's weird that that's his name. S-A-L-E-S, Tim Sales. And if you go to YouTube and you Google up his name, Tim Sales, he has actually gone to other countries to talk to people who are in governments of other countries that would say, this is wrong, this is a scam. And he would talk to the governments, the heads of state, and saying, and even Larry King was convinced that finally, network marketing is not bad. It's the people, some of the people that are bad. But Kenny, I'm going to ask you a question. Aren't people bad everywhere?
Well, people are good people and there are bad people. And, so it really doesn't matter what you do, what business you're in, what company you work for. I'm sure a lot of you have worked for different companies, had different jobs, and you know that the people that you work around, as you share things and you observe things, do some things that are questionable, do some things that quite frankly are just not honest. And so we know as we go through life that we can't go through with our eyes closed thinking that everybody's going to do everything just do the right thing all the time. However, in realizing that, we got to also realize that there are good people in the world that believe in doing the right thing. There are people that believe, once again, as Christians, we have a responsibility to do certain things and behave ourselves at all time because people are watching us, Cynthia. And I think knowing that you have good and you have bad with everything, it doesn't matter if you're in a traditional business or you're in network marketing. So one way or the other, you're always going to have good people. You're going to have bad people.
Yeah. And another thing, you mentioned traditional business. A lot of people don't know that companies like, I think it's Nature Sunshine, started out as network marketing, but you'll see Nature Sunshine things all in retail stores now. Sprint started out as network marketing, and now you see Sprint everywhere. There are so many things out there. You even see like Avon stores that are set up in certain areas. People have Avon stores still in their home. I used to sell Avon years ago. Didn't make any money at it, but I got some great stuff for free. My mother sold Avon. And we're going to talk a little bit about some things that we discovered in our network marketing journey. For over 30 years, we've looked for companies. Years ago, we were introduced to a company called Shackley. And Shackley was a Christian-based company as well. We still have the book by the founder, Forrest Shackley. And my piano teacher from years ago introduced us to it shortly after we got married. And I'm thinking, okay, all the Church of God people, that's what we were with at the time, the Church of God. That's where I was raised. In fact, I was raised in multiple churches, but that's not a scam either. It's just choice. She said, you need to look at this product. They are all environmental based, and we always love environmental based green products. It was cool to be green even back in the 70s. But I just wanted to tell my husband about it, and he said, oh, one of those things. Well, We ended up buying the Basic H and all the other stuff. Great products. But it was just about selling things. I wasn't really big on sales. But, when you talk about sales, we have to sell ourselves to a job recruiter. Ooh, I said the recruit word. And then we talked about Amway, where the first time we got into it, we needed some extra money for our first baby girl, who's not a baby girl anymore. And we said we needed some extra money. And the best thing we got out of that was the soap for the baby diapers. It didn't break her skin out. It was really good stuff. You remember that?
I remember,
You weren't
yes.
crazy about it at all. You didn't want to do it. And so I said, okay, we need extra money. And then we got out of that because the person who brought us the information, he was a college professor, God rest his soul, very dear man, highly decorated professional, and he brought us this saying it's a good idea. Well, network marketing, why is he, a PhD, bringing us this stuff? Well, what he did, he literally brought us the box of stuff. We paid about $100 for it, and then he was gone. I mean, no meetings, no nothing. And I was frustrated. It didn't make any sense for us to pay, what was it, like maybe 40, 50 at the time, maybe more than that now, every single year to renew something that we weren't getting any value out of. That we could go back to the store. Remember, we could go to the dollar store. Were the dollar stores around then? Probably not. I think it was like Woolworths. But we could go.
We could always go to Kmart because they
and
were
get
around,
those. Right. And so then we fast forward into the 90s, 1996. We became grandparents. We wanted to help our grandchild. And parent of grandchild too. And so I was sitting talking with my sister, who is very anti-network marketing now, and it's just the way it is. A lot of people are like that because of bad experiences. But you know what? My husband overheard a conversation because I just said, okay, have her friend come over who I'd known for years because she was a friend. I listened to her. So she gave us the Amway thing, and I said, okay, well, it's a little different now. I think that we'll go ahead and pass. And then you said something totally different, listening to a baseball game, remember?
Yeah, so I remember at the time we were number one. I was teaching, and I had a discussion with one of my colleagues because at that time they were talking about having cutbacks and basically talking about eliminating jobs and positions in the school system. And I looked at him and I said to him, I said, I'm never going to let that happen to me, where I'm out of a job looking for something, because it dawned on me you need to find something before you're cut off. And when I looked and heard about Amway this time around, it was like a light came on and it said to me, the good thing about this is you make what you are willing to go out and work to get. Um, you may say, well, okay, I have to invest a certain amount of money and a certain amount of time. And then once again, they were at that point in time, since they remember they were big on tapes.
Yes.
But I did come to understand the value of the tape. Of course, we found out that not only did it educate you, but it was financially profitable for certain people in the Amway business. But at the same time, we learned that it was important that we take on some responsibility and being able to get information however we could that would make us better at what we did. And because of that, even realizing then, Cynthia, remember we said, well, we had people that brought us into the business, but quite frankly, we had to go to meetings. We had to go way far away just to have a meeting, because basically those meetings were sort of evolved around the people that were the leaders in the business. So rather than them come to you and make themselves really super available to you, you had to make yourself available. So you had to travel a lot. Of course, we didn't have communications the way that we have it now. But the bottom line was we discovered that if we really wanted to have something work, it was up to us.
Yeah.
And so that was, I think, really an important part of our life as we went through and dealt with network marketing.
Yeah. And I know we're not on the phone solely, so back to you. I mean, I'm right here next to you, so it's next to you, not back to you. Uh, Here in Muncie, and I'm just going to come clean on Muncie here. Muncie has had some scams come through here that have made headlines. Newspapers, of course, if you know the media, the reason you don't see a lot of good in the media about network marketing is because that's taking their business away. Network marketing is you have a network of people. We have a network of churches, we have a network of organizations, we have a network of professions, and we all get together to do our thing and to talk and share information. Well, if a person has a product and all you do is share word of mouth, guess who's going to lose money? Look, we're in a market shift, and people in the publishing industry are losing money anyway. I remember back in college where my professors, journalism professors, very well known, worldwide known, he's retired now, he said that ebooks would never make it. People will never read anything on Kindle. I think Kindle was just then being introduced as a prototype or something, one called Kindle. But it was like, no, people will always pick up books. People will never do ebooks. People will never listen to music online, you know? And I'm telling you, he was wrong. Of course, he was also kind of old. But you know what? I guess our old thinking will keep us lost and in the dust. One thing that I wanted to talk about too, Kenny, you brought up with Amway, is that when we had our first Amway meeting, I don't think we had home meetings and things, but we mostly had to go every other places. Remember, there were like 15 people shoved in that 19-passenger van on the way to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yeah,
Oh
I remember
gosh.
that.
Whew. That was rough, but we were doing it in the name of the American dream. Woohoo, you know. Well, here's the thing. I think I cried through that whole weekend because I was so miserable. I was uncomfortable. I had a lot of bad experiences, and maybe some of you have some bad experiences too. I remember here in Muncie, talking about the media again, there was an attorney who was arrested. Not going to mention any names. A lot of people probably know who that is, but it was a really big scam. People were losing money, and they were just basically getting paid to recruit people. That's what happens. That's a pyramid. When you get paid to recruit people and there's no product involved, it has something to do with like cards that, you know, they didn't even have the product out yet. And oh, you'll probably hear other people saying, well, this famous person is doing this. And they'll have a really superstar spokesperson, spokesman, spokeswoman. That doesn't help your pocket, does it? So moving fast forward, a lot of people got soured from those experiences, thinking, well, if an attorney can get arrested for that, I think he's okay now. But, you know, why in the world should I get involved in something like that? I'm not going to tell my friends I'm scared. You know, I don't want to be involved in that. I'm a professional. And so, you know, as we go through the next to you, when you talk about people and jobs, you know, we were at a job fair today. Not today. Well,
This week we were
this
at a
week,
job
yeah,
fair,
a week from tomorrow, we were at the job fair at Ball State, and there were people who basically kept walking by, and well, we thought that that company was the same as it was a few years ago. And do you remember what I told the person, Kenny?
No, I don't quite
Oh,
remember
yes, you did.
what you told the person, other than the fact, you know, when we start talking about a job fair, you know, I think it's sort of interesting, Cynthia. People are going to job fairs looking for jobs, and that's probably because everybody's programmed. That's one of the great things you do when you get an education. You go to school, come out, and you can get a great job. Well, come to discover nowadays there aren't tons of great jobs out there because there's so many people looking for jobs. And the thing about a job, I think that most people don't realize, people then are out to hire you. So therefore, you go out and you put together a resume to really impress the people that are hiring.
Yeah.
And then putting that resume together, basically you tell people what you know or you think they want to hear. So they don't really get the true person anyway. But then there's a difference between looking for a job and then, once again, if you're out recruiting people for a business. Because as we recruit people for a business, we're recruiting people not for our business, but to be partners with us in their own business. And that's something we offer as in once again in network marketing, we offer the individual an opportunity to have their own business, something that they can have control over. Remember, when you're working a job, you're working for someone else. But when you're working your business, you're working for yourself. Uh, and the great thing about that in recruiting, we're looking for people like mine. We're looking for people who are willing to go out and do the extra things that other people aren't willing to do. So once again, we're looking at people then when we're recruiting that are like-minded and people that want something for themselves and are willing to do what it takes to get the job done.
Next to me.
Next to you.
And here's another thing. People say, I don't have the time. And I really want folks to hone in on this. I don't have the time. Why don't you have the time? Get a calendar out, as Chevette Daniel, one of our directors, said on our last Friday call. Get a calendar out and write down what it is that you are doing. See what it is that's taking away from your time. And then when you put that down, see how much that's giving back to you. And then what we say for our business, I don't know what it is for yours. If you're looking at this, fine, I'm glad you got a business. But how much time do you have with other people saying, I'll take my time and give it to you? That's like your boss at your job saying, you're not feeling well, you got the flu, you're sick, you need to be at home with your child who has the flu. You have to go to school to be at a conference with a parent-teacher thing, because your child's having issues at the school. You got to go bail your brother out of jail. You got to do those type of things. Let me just sit down and do your job for you. Let me make sure that you get a bonus check on my time. Let me make sure that you have a chance to do what you want to do for your family, what you need to do, and you still get paid. You know any jobs like that out there, Kenny, that'll do that?
I tell you something that's really interesting. People say, I don't have the time. I think a lot of times what they really ought to just come out and say is, I don't really want to take the time.
Ooh.
Because they do have time.
Ooh.
When you think about a job, you work a job and you're there all day long. But if the employer, your supervisor, your boss says, look, we're going to have a meeting tonight at 8 o'clock, or we're going to be at this restaurant tonight at 8 o'clock. I expect you to be there. I expect everyone to be there. You know what? You'll make the time because that job is important. And they realize that you'll make the time because the job's important to you. How many of you really think your life is important to you? How many of you think your family is important to you? How many of you even think, if nothing else, you're important to yourself? And that you ought to be able then to have the time to do something special for yourself. Well, if you're really thinking about you got the time to do something special for yourself, Cynthia, I think that's one of the things that I realized when I looked at this business is if I will take the time to do something special for me and my family, my sweetheart, okay, that should be priority. And when I looked at that, it's okay then for me to take the time to be on calls. It's okay for me to take the time to go to conventions. It's okay for me to take the time to go to Super Saturdays and things like that, in which there are going to be like-minded people there that thought it was important to take the time to be there. Take the time to be there to share with you, to teach you things that they've taught, and to be able to share information. So when you think you don't have the time, rethink how important is your time.
Right. Just to go over this again real quick, we talked about what people say about network marketing, and mostly it's like quitting. It's no different than college. You can go to college, you can pay to take those tests, and then you can go and flunk out. Well, did the college fail you? No, you failed the college. You failed yourself. Okay, the college has been there for years, some of them hundreds of years, like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, Ball State. But you know something, if you can't achieve more where you are, you need to do something different, especially with the taxes and things. And so I'm not going to get into that because we have a line that you can actually listen to for our business, or the business of people that share with you who are part of YTBFTA, First Travel Alliance, and get back with the person who told you about that, because we really could get into this deep. But we've gone about 24 minutes. We don't want to go any longer. Just make sure that you go back over that Bible verse about liars. Why do people lie? The lying game. Love that show. But the bottom line is that there's recruiting and hiring. Recruiting, you get to see who the real person is. The recruiting person will hear, I don't have time for that. The person who is recruiting for a job will say, oh yeah, I'll make time for that. And then they come to work late, or they don't come to work at all. And they have people lie for them over the phone. See, at least if you're recruiting in a network marketing company, the person will just tell you up front the truth. I don't have the time. And so you move on, because that's not the person that you want to help put an extra $500 in their pocket. Is that right, dear?
That's true. And you know, Cynthia, I think sometimes really people want to label things as scams because they can't make any money, and they don't really realize why they aren't making
They
money.
don't listen.
They
dodge your phone calls.
It's sort of like, truthfully, for the person that wants to go to college to get a degree, and they'll pay their money to go to school, and they'll pay their money because just to go to school you got to pay for that, but now you got to pay also for the books, for the classes, for the courses.
Mm-hmm.
They'll buy those books, and the books sit and they go unopened.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays they're having to have computers. The information is there, but you have to go online to get the information. But they don't have the time to go online to get the information because they're too busy doing other things that are important to them. So because of that, they fail, they flunk out of school. They don't get the degree. Does that mean that the university is a failure?
Mm-mm.
No, it doesn't mean the university is a failure. It just means that the individual failed to do what they needed to do to succeed. And many times when we talk about network marketing, the people that you hear cry the loudest are the ones that fail to do the work to get what they desire. When I taught, we had a saying: if you didn't get the grade that you wanted, it's highly likely I didn't get the work that I wanted.
Right.
So keep that in mind.
Right. And then you can do the work with the wrong leader. So you got to be careful about the leaders that you choose. Is this a leader who is looking out for you, where they say that we can help you go way past where we are as leaders? That if a person is making $100,000 a month, does that leader want to help you, if that's what you choose to do, to make $1 million a month? Because if it's been done before, it can happen again. And if someone has done it before, you can do it. There may be people say, hey, I just want to help another person do better. I'm comfortable where I am, but I know somebody that could take an opportunity and go far with it. And then they're rewarded too.
That's true.
Yeah. So with that having been said, I think we're done now. But if you know that there are people that complain about Facebook, there are people making money from that. Are you making money from Facebook? No, but it's online. We have a wonderful online business called YTB Marketing, and it's YTB International and First Travel Alliance, where you don't even have to have a team. If you just love travel and you love to book travel, you can get paid booking travel. You can get paid showing other people how to save money on their travel and make money on their travel through an affiliate program. So there's a number that's going to pop up at the top of the screen here that's a 24/7 replay. Get the site of the person who told you about YTB. If it's us, you can hit us up on Facebook if you don't know what it is. And we'll just make sure that this video is free for everyone to use. Dial 712-432-0990. And the PIN number is 267990#. That's for the 24/7 replay of our business. Runs about 20-30 minutes. And it walks you through visually because you have the site right there in front of you. And to replay this call, the number at the bottom of the screen, you'll see here in a few moments, to replay this call and share it is 712-432-1085. Hadn't had my second cup of Ganovia today. 712-432-1085, and the PIN number is the same as you dialed in. You're going to cue the music, sweetie. The PIN number is 802-089#. We are so glad you joined us for show number 110. And you know what? If there's a rumor out there going around, don't be the child of the devil. Find out the truth. And Kenny, I think that we're done now, and I had a good time recording this. How about you?
I think we're done. But remember, Make the time for yourself. And have a good weekend and a good week.
YTB, get the rumors free. YTB, get the rumors free. Bye, everybody.